Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Movie Reviewers 100. My name is Scott, also known as CineRam, and I am the guy to review movies here on Thursdays. In going through, after I joined the channel, which was pretty recent actually, just back in April I think, I went through all the previous reviews and sort of made a list of them because I didn't want to repeat reviewing any films that had already been done. And I noticed that while Alien by Ridley Scott and Alien 3 by David Fincher had been reviewed, no one had reviewed Aliens by James Cameron, so that's what I'd like to do now. This is my favorite film by James Cameron. He's, of course, directed the Terminator movies and Titanic and Avatar, but I think this is his best film. And I think probably because he shows some subtlety, whereas a lot of those other movies he doesn't. He doesn't seem all that concerned with subtlety. And what I mean by subtlety is in terms of like acting mostly. Sigourney Weaver is brilliant in this movie, just very easy to connect to emotionally. She really finds the character, and it's a very different sort of character from the one she played in the first Alien movie. The character goes through some pretty dramatic changes in each of the films, not the least of which is Alien Resurrection. She's playing a completely different character, technically, even though she's taken from the original character's DNA. Ellen Ripley is her name, of course. This disc is one that I picked up a few months ago at one of the big fire sales at Borders as they were closing down. It's got a lot of nice artwork on it. That's a publicity still from the movie that they have doctored up a bit, and they have more interesting looking pictures on the packaging. And this is a 2-disc set, of course, which has lots of fun stuff in it. There's Carrie Henn, who plays Newt, the little girl who they find on the colony, and there are the discs right here. There's a number of special features on this, but the best features, of course, are the 2 versions of the film, one of which is the theatrical version that played in 1986 when it was in the theater. Interestingly enough, it was a double feature with The Fly by David Cronenberg. That must have been interesting. But there's also another cut of the film which runs 17 minutes longer that has a lot of additional information about Ripley's daughter and some subplots involving automated robot guns that they try and set up to ward off the aliens in certain parts of the movie. Some of it is extraneous, and the movie is just fine without it, but I prefer the longer version just because there's more of it, and I like the movie and the characters so much. Now, the individual characters aren't necessarily as memorable as the ones from the first Alien movie. There's more of them, and so each of them gets less opportunity to define themselves. In the first movie, I think there was maybe 6 or 7 central characters, all played by recognizable actors: Tom Skerritt, Yaphet Kotto, Harry Dean Stanton, Mary Lambert, Sigourney Weaver, of course, and Ian Holm played the robot Ash. There's more characters, but a lot of them get cut down within like the first hour of the movie during the first alien attack. So the core cast is made up of course, Sigourney Weaver, and Carrie Henn as Newt, and Paul Reiser is the executive from Weyland-Yutani, and Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton and Jenette Goldstein as a few of the Marines who are trying to protect them and stay alive. And then there's Gorman. I don't remember the name of the actor, but he's actually an English actor playing an American, which is pretty cool. Obviously, the Bill Paxton character is a very memorable one, just for being so cocky in the beginning, and then he turns into, a scaredy cat for the rest of the movie once the aliens first hit him. I really like Bill Paxton a lot. I don't think he's the most talented actor, but in the right role, he's really great. I like Michael Biehn a lot. I've liked him in a lot of films. He's a Cameron standby. He was in The Abyss and The Terminator, of course. And I was hoping that he'd pop up in True Lies as well as the reporter at the end of the movie. I thought it would have been a perfect Michael Biehn cameo, but it didn't happen. Paul Reiser, he is terrific as the executive. He's very friendly at first. He knows that Ripley's had difficulty with a company in the past, and so he's trying to be as agreeable and accommodating to her as possible. But then you find out what his real agenda is, and once he starts working against the other humans and putting them in danger for his own career path, then he becomes very hateable. And it's fun to see them threaten him, by tearing his eyes out or whatever. It's great. He's terrific in the movie. And all in all, the movie is just a very, very suspenseful film. I saw this when I was pretty young. It came out in '86, and at that time I would have been about 13. So I probably didn't see it for another couple of years. But when I did see it, yeah, it was one of the most intense, exciting movies that I'd seen, right up there with Raiders of the Lost Ark and Die Hard and those classic action movies. And it really is an action picture set in space. But yeah, it's a fantastic movie, a great cast, really terrific script, and the effects are amazing too because there's no CGI here, obviously. It's all done with models, and a lot of the effects are done in camera with forced perspective and miniatures and things like that. I remember seeing the shot of the ship flying over the surface of the planet as before they land, and in one shot it's very obviously a miniature superimposed against a background, but in the next shot you see the plane flying towards the ground in the middle of like a rainstorm, and it looks completely real. I don't know whether they shot a miniature at a higher rate of speed and to make it look like it was moving more like a larger ship or whatever, but the rain effect looked amazing. It's the one thing that I noticed about Jurassic Park as well. The dinosaurs look so much more real when their skin is glistening with moisture from the rain and that kind of thing. It just makes the whole thing more real. And of course the aliens themselves, I think they built like a total of 7 or 8 alien suits to use, and they just keep using them over and over again because all the aliens look similar to each other, and because the scenes are so dark a lot of the times you can't tell that it's the same costumes. Yeah, it's quite a movie. Really, really a lot of fun movie. For me, it's definitely the crowning achievement of Cameron. Every single movie he's made since then has been just a little bit worse, unfortunately. I like him overall. I like his style. But it just seems, I don't know, like his movies just pander a little bit too much to the audience in order to justify their budgets. I mean, you know, come on. Titanic cost $200 million, Avatar cost $400 million or something like that. It's ridiculous how expensive his movies are, and so they have to have as broad appeal as possible, and that limits the enjoyment for me. Aliens is not like that. Aliens is a straight up R-rated, violent, fun, exciting action picture with lots of great effects and creatures, and a lot of great dialogue as well, and good characters, and a great cast. Overall, all in all, it's a winner. And so I want to sort of plug that gap in the Alien series that we were missing here for this channel. Thanks very much for watching, and of course, we'll have more reviews from other guys coming up, so please stay tuned for that as well. Take it easy.